The cruel Lord is at it again. All praises, honor, glory goes to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, Elder Bishop, the Great Millstone, who rule well. Peace and blessings to you fellow brothers pushing out this word in truth and sincerity. Shebachnak, coming back with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Okay, shalom to all the believers out there fighting for their faith. This is going to be a video, all right, going into, the government shutdown, okay, and how the cruel Lord, all right, Isaiah 19 has to be Donald J. Trump, okay, because he's coming in doing, like a maniac, he's flipping shit, turning shit upside down, firing people, cursing people out. All right, he's coming in like a Caesar. All right, he's coming in like a king. Okay. Now I'm gonna play this video. This is fair use, and then there's another video. I haven't watched it yet, but we'll check it out, see what they're saying too on this whole government shutdown. And of course, these events are used as distractions, all right, for bigger things that are actually happening. Possibly, America going into war within the next couple of weeks. There's some talk about that. We know ultimately it's going to happen, but is the government trying to hide something? Now, it was all spiritual that the government shutdown was on the Day of Atonement, okay, where we don't eat and we don't drink, we afflict our souls. And we pray to Yahweh Shema Shai, okay? That he may, forgive us of our sins, which ultimately Yahushai is that mediator. He is that atonement. Nevertheless, we rehearse the righteous acts. But it was a spiritual event that happened right when the government shut down. Who knows when it's going to happen? I believe it was some years back that it was shut down for like 34 days, 35 days. This can be longer, which you have a lot of federal workers that are not going to go, that are not going to get paid. You're going to have the government is going to come to a halt. It's going to slow down. Particular things are not going to be opening up. A lot of federal workers are going to be mad. We'll see how long they're going to extend this, or they might just, they might come to agreement. Usually that's what they do. They'll come to agreement. But Trump, basically, you're going to hear that he's going to take this time to, fire some people and, slash spending, save money, all under the banner of saving money. So let's play this as fair use. Let me make sure this is sped up. Okay. Fair use. Turn this up a little bit. All right, let's play this.
5:03 this morning. It's now day 2 of the federal government shutdown, and right now Congress remains deadlocked. Thousands of federal workers are facing furloughs and possible layoffs overnight.
Yeah, furloughs meaning you're gonna go home. Okay, you're gonna go home without pay. There's no work for you. Okay.
President Trump posted.
And also essential workers, which have to work, they have to come to work without pay. Okay, and this economy is not one economy in which that can continue.
That the shutdown is an opportunity to save billions of dollars as he's starting to cancel.
Salakia, let me just run that again so you can hear that. There's an opportunity for what?
5:03 this morning. It's now day 2 of the federal government shutdown, and right now Congress remains deadlocked. Thousands of federal workers are facing furloughs and possible layoffs. Overnight, President Trump posted that the shutdown is an opportunity to save billions of dollars as he's starting to cancel funding to several Democrat-led states. Tina Kraus has more.
Around the country, signs of the federal shutdown at government buildings and national parks.
The government shutdown.
Around San Francisco, tourists hoping to enjoy historical sites found only closures.
My first time, so I'm a bit gutted.
In the nation's capital, falling foot traffic means fewer customers for this food truck owner.
Right now, I don't make nothing. Only 3 customers. I have 3 customers.
Capitol Hill is also quiet today, with lawmakers observing the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur.
That's another thing. When I was listening to them, like, well, what? The United States lawmakers, are observing, all right, the Jewish holiday Yom Kippur, which that's Hebrew. That's how they say it. But it's Hebrew it's a Day of Atonement, basically. It's the Day of Atonement. Why are lawmakers United States lawmakers, why are they observing that day? That doesn't make any sense. Now, there was some news a while back where you had U.S. lawmakers, they visited Israel in the biggest, let's see, U.S. lawmakers in Israel. Right? Look, over 250 U.S. lawmakers in Israel. Media silent. Yeah, there wasn't really any news on this. So why are these lawmakers? Why are they observing the so-called Jewish holiday? That doesn't make any sense.
The largest ever U.S. delegation to Israel just took place. 250 state legislators from all 50 states arrived Monday for an event called 50 States, One Israel. They planted 50 trees at a site of the October 7th attacks and met with Israeli leaders. Netanyahu's office called it the biggest bipartisan visit of American lawmakers to Israel. Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar urged them to push anti-BDS laws in their states, which are meant to discourage boycotts of Israel. So far, 38 states have already adopted such measures. Sa'ar described BDS as part of a coordinated global effort against Israel, saying the best response has been anti-BDS legislation. But the trip's timing sparked controversy. The very next day, the UN ruled for the first time that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza, while Israel relaunched its ground invasion of Gaza City. And despite it...
So you see that's real interesting. I'm sorry. That's real interesting. Let's pull that back.
Right now, I don't make nothing. Only 3 customers. I have 3 customers.
Capitol Hill is also quiet today, with lawmakers observing the Jewish holiday of Yom Kippur. More votes on a funding bill to reopen the government are expected Friday.
Well, it ends when the Senate Democrats pick this bill up, passed by the House of Representatives, and vote for it.
Party leaders are dug in. Republicans want to pass the Clean House GOP bill to fund the government into November, but Democrats are not backing down from their demand to extend health care subsidies.
Donald Trump and Republicans shut the federal government down because they don't want to provide health care to working class Americans.
President Trump last night urged Republicans to use the shutdown to, quote, clear out dead wood, waste, and fraud.
See that? Clear out dead wood, waste, and fraud. Who's the wood? It's these federal workers. Okay, remember DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, is still going on. So this is the time to clear out all this dead matter, these things that are not needed, to defund particular, states, defund particular organizations within the government. What does that mean? That's just added to more job losses, which decreases, the economy. Like that lady that she had that food truck. That means she can't take care of herself.
President Trump last night urged Republicans to use the shutdown to, quote, clear out dead wood, waste, and fraud.
We are going to have to lay some people off if the shutdown continues.
See, we're going to have to lay some people off.
Administration warns those layoffs could begin in the next 48 hours. The president also moved to block billions of dollars in funding for infrastructure in New York and climate projects in 16 states that voted for his opponent in the 2024 election.
As the shutdown continues, some members of Congress have called for a pause in their own paychecks until the government reopens.
And is that going to happen? Let's look at some comments. We're going to hit some scriptures. It says, no one in Congress should be paid during the shutdown. Why are we sending money to other countries while our government is shutting down? Fire senators and Congress members. Firing everyday people is ridiculous. Congress and Senate should be the ones who take the brunt of this. Right, so the sentiment is the people, they're like, well, what the hell is going on? Wait, how is the government shutting down? And there's going to be people that are going to be fired in these everyday federal jobs, but these lawmakers, these senators, all right, these legislators, they're good. The Senate is good. The Congress is good. But the average everyday person is bad. And the government is sending billions and billions and billions of dollars to other countries to fund wars, to fund the infrastructure, to pay their wage. They send money to Ukraine. They send money to Israel. They send money to all these different nations. But your average everyday American is struggling. And the government is shutting down because the left and the right, they can't agree. But see, this is all moving. Give me a second. This is all moving to. God damn. This is all moving to the same direction. Right? But the excuse is that you know, the Democrats they don't want to sign the bill. You know, the Democrats are saying the Republicans they don't want to fund health care, so we're not going to sign. So there's going to be a stall. Nah, this is a distraction. Okay, they use this as a distraction. All right, they use this to you know, really to further crash the economy little by little. Okay, to cut spending, to cut particular positions. Okay, remember, Esau doesn't just do anything for no reason. This is Revelation 13:11. And I beheld another beast come up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb. That beast that's coming back up is the ancient Roman Empire coming back. Okay, in the position of America, NATO, and the EU. Okay, and that two horns, which a lamb had two horns. A lamb is a very docile, gentle creature, a creature that's life-threatening. Nobody has been attacked and ripped to shreds by a lamb. Who has died by a lamb? A lamb is a very delicate creature. So here, America, it's you know, boasts itself in freedom of religion, freedom of you can do whatever you want, you can be whoever you want, opportunity, okay, safety, peace and safety. Okay, the streets are going to be protected. Okay, your speech is protected, freedom of speech, freedom to assemble, freedom to bear arms. It says, and he spake as a dragon. So you have these two political parties, the right and the left, the Democrats and the Republicans, which you have the plebeians and the patricians. Those were the two parties back in ancient Rome, and it's the same system. It's the same system that we're seeing today, and it makes you believe that, you know, there are people on the right and people on the left that have these two opposing, you know, points, how they want to rule the government, and then they come together bipartisan to make sure America is great. But really, what's happening? That dragon-like speech, all right, it makes it seem like, you know, this is for the people, but it's dragon-like as far as draconian when you go to that word dragon in the Greek, Draco, which goes back to a Athenian lawgiver that was harsh on just one. Like basically, if you jaywalk, you get the death penalty. Okay, and that's going to be manifested even more once they bring in this social credit store through your digital ID and your biometrics. Okay, and then you're going to have your digital money. All right. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the beast whose deadly wound was healed. So, okay, I'm done there. Let me go to Isaiah 19. I just wanted to get that two horns like a lamb and spake as a dragon. And then we'll hit Isaiah 19. But I want to go to this video. Let's see what's going on in this video. The big news. Remember, there's like every week they're going to hit you with a big story that they're going to cover throughout the week. Okay? Every week they're going to hit you with a big story to steer your mind in that direction. Meanwhile, things are happening in the background. Okay, war is mounting up. Okay, people are tired, and you can see how 2 Ezra the 15th chapter is going to come to fruition. You know, where it says they're not going to regard their kings nor their princes, meaning they're not going to regard the authorities, the government authorities, the police, the sheriffs, okay, these different politicians, the president, okay, these mayors and governors. They're not going to regard them because it's clear and obvious that they're getting the short end of the stick every single time. Okay, the Americans, you know, their quality of living is diminishing month by month, really. Okay, year by year, month by month. You know, a middle class family in which, you know, once was able, they had enough money for food, didn't have to worry about spending too much money on food, didn't have to worry about paying their mortgage, didn't have to worry about sending their kids to college. Even, they'll save some money, but they're able to send their kids to college, maybe going on a vacation or two. Enjoy themselves. Take a few days off of work. Go to now you can't do that. Now you got to grind. A dozen of eggs, $12. It used to be $4 or $5. Okay, celery, $3 per stalk. Okay, and that'd be for like the regular shit, not even the organic. Okay, the eat organic shit, you gotta make $100,000 a year, or eat very little, and you better eat the stems, you better eat the seeds, you better eat the skin, you better eat everything to get your money's worth. Okay, you better not waste nothing. You better not peel that carrot. You better just eat the whole carrot. Okay, the stem and all. Okay, you better eat them apple seeds in that core. That's how bad it's getting. Okay, and the people are seeing this blatant disrespect for their well-being. All right, by now it's the government shutdown. Remember, you had the thing with the dock workers. You know, the dock workers where that shit was gonna get shut down, and then they came to a deal right at the end. But they leave you on a cliffhanger. And this is fair use. And this is not a, you know, a system in which people are enjoying. It used to, you know, you used to be able to enjoy this system, the freedoms of America. Now people are, it's a burden. It's like, damn, every fucking day there's another crisis I should worry about. It's a boogeyman, ISIS and Hamas, Al Qaeda, and then the radical left or the radical right, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, Iran, the Houthis, the Venezuelan cartel. Like nobody ever heard of the Venezuelan cartel. Nobody. All of a sudden, they're a big crime syndicate, and that need to be stopped. What about Colombia? Colombia is the top. That's where all the shit go down. What about Colombia? So there's a boogeyman every corner, okay? And that's Esau Edom. He wants the people in constant fear. Okay, then they're gonna pull the different disease, the outbreaks. They'll pull that out of their hat. Okay, it's a new X virus X. Unknown. It can kill many people. Remember the whole thing with the C-19? They don't even talk about that no more. Why don't they talk about it? Because they're done with that. They'll run it back. Remember the monkeypox, the monkey virus, right? They was pushing that in the news. Remember the UFOs, they call them drones and orbs. They don't even talk about that. So what the fuck is going on? If you can see, they're always pushing some type of distraction. He can't stop. Let me you know what? Let me get Isaiah 47. Okay. He's not going to stop. He can't stop. And this is what the scriptures say. Okay. Isaiah 47, I'm going to start at 12. Stand now with thy enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. Yeah, because he's doing all this distractions, all this confusion, all this witchcraft. He's doing it for a particular reason. Okay, to take away. All right, what's the word? The publicity of what's actually happening. I'll use that word. Take away the publicity of what's actually happening, the serious matters. And he wants to distract you with things that keep you on edge. Things that depress you. Things that give you anxiety to the point where you're like, to hell with it. I just want to have fun. I'm just going to drink my life away. Okay? He rouses your spirit. If he wants you to feel he wants you to feel roused up for a particular racial event that happened in the United States, well, he'll push that in the media. Okay? Just like the whole thing with the Captain Kirk. They're not really even talking about Captain Kirk. That's old news. Okay? The chick that got the so-called, you know, they got stabbed up by that Jake so-called, right? That's old news. Now they have to constantly keep hitting you with another psyop, with another distraction, another enchantment. Let's look at this word enchantment. Okay, because that's all that it is. And they use their media. Okay, that word enchantment is khabar. Okay, association, company, band, shared, association, society. A musician, charmer, spell. All right, and through their media, all right, through their medium, their influence, all right, playing on your mind, playing on your spirit, all right, they charm you to where the whole world is under Esau's charm. All right, Isaiah the 60th chapter, gross darkness the people. Okay, the people are completely in darkness. So when they look at these different things, they don't know what to think. It's all over the place. Esau's literally all over the place. But through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemal Shah, we're able to hone in and pinpoint and call out, all right, what this damn devil is doing. There's nothing other than enchantments. Okay? It's nothing. That's all that it is. Okay, so that word was khabar. You know, basically sorcery, magic, spells, charming. Okay, he's charming you. Let me look at the word charming in witchcraft. Let's go to Google. Let's see. In witchcraft, a charm can be either a physical object, like an amulet, a verbal formula, such as incantations, intended to influence energy, see, and bring about a specific change or outcome. That's literally what Esau does. He has these newscasters come out, and they'll spew the same rhetoric. It'll be the same wording, maybe change up just a little bit to invoke. Okay, it's an incantation. These words are deliberately put together and you know, and spoken to the people over and over again to bring about a particular outcome. The practice of enchanting an object or person with magical power. Yeah, Esau has magical power. Remember, ancient Egypt. When you read about the story of ancient Egypt, the Magi, all right, back in ancient Egypt, they were able to do particular spells and you know, they have powers essentially. Okay, the practice of enchanting an object or a person with magical power, also called charming, where a spell is cast to add properties or qualities to an item, like a lucky coin, or to affect how someone is perceived. Okay, and Esau, he does that on a daily basis, and well, he does that with the Hebrew Israelites. Anytime that he brings the Hebrew Israelites out in the news for the whole world to see, it's always black Hebrew Israelites. It's always in the setting of them being extremists. They did something wrong. They put somebody to, you know, to DEATH. All right, they attacked somebody. They raped somebody. They did something illegal, and so he has to keep that narrative. It's all witchcraft, because that's not what we do. Now you got certain groups that are compromised, and when he does, and when these groups do it, is a lot of time Esau's the one that set them up to do it. And it was a bug. It was somebody that was bugged out. They left what do they call it? A manifesto. It's the same story. That's why the scripture said we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. All right, what is that doing? It's charming you. Okay, he's using these particular keywords, okay, to invoke particular emotions. He's put it in your face, and that's all you hear is negative, negative, negative. So you actually start to believe it, because if you put it on the TV, the people will believe. That's how low level your average everyday American citizen is. They're easily deceived. Okay. It says, "Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. See? Esau's wearied. Because these councils that he, that he's, a part of, like they're rolling out the government shutdown. They already knew they was going to shut down the government. Who knows? Maybe years back. Okay, we're gonna shut it down at this time. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. You got the shadow government working behind the scenes, telling the people that are out in front what to do and what not to do, what to say, what not to say. Remember, Trump. He has a script, but the thing about Trump is too, he plays that position. He plays that role, and you got individuals that can improvise. You got particular actors that are great in improvising. They can, they have certain scripts, but then they can go off script and make it sound better than the script. So Trump, he just be saying all type of shit. He like a wild card. He'll say whatever the hell's on his mind. He's fully tapped into that position. Okay, because he's coming back in the reincarnation, in that same position, doing the same thing. Are cruel. Okay, let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and say thee from these things that shall come upon these. Right? Yeah. How are you going to be able to control those missiles? All right, that are going to fly upon you. Okay, these other nations that's going to take up that aggressive stance against you and burn you with fire. Are you going to be able to, buy your way out of that? The scriptures tell you no. Are you going to enchant your way out of that? You're not going to be able to enchant your way out of that. This is inevitable. Okay, everything's already set. And you doing all these little tricks and schemes, and it's not going to work. So let's play a little bit more.
Unfortunately, because the Unfortunately, because the Democrats shut down the government, the president has directed his cabinet in the office of...
The Democrats did it. When you watch the Republicans, right, they're going to say the Democrats did it. When you watch the Democrats, they're going to say the Republicans did it. So what fucking is it? So you can see how they got the people in a tug of war. They're like, what's going on? But their paychecks are not stopping.
Management and budget is working with agencies across the board to identify where cuts can be made, and we believe that layoffs are imminent. They are, unfortunately, a consequence of this government shutdown.
See? It's imminent. It's imminent. More shutdowns. More federal workers gone. Okay, everything's being moved over to AI. Okay, baby? All right? And it's only going to get tougher and tougher and tougher.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Why does the president want to fire some workers and not just furlough them? Why is this shutdown any different?
Well, first of all, we haven't made any final decisions about what we're going to do with certain workers. What we're saying is that we might have to take extraordinary steps, especially the longer this goes on. We're going to have to take extraordinary measures to ensure that people's government operates, again, not perfectly, because it's not going to operate perfectly in the midst of a shutdown, but operate as well as it possibly can. And I think that the Democrats, if they're so worried about the effect this is having on the American people, and they should be, what they should do is reopen the government, not complain about how we respond to the fact that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have shut down the government in the first place. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you. See you guys.
See, they speaking at the dragon with a smile on their face, because that's not going to affect them. They live in a bubble. They good. Okay, their pockets are lined with money that we've never touched, we've never seen. Okay, they're in circles that we'll never be a part of, which we wouldn't want to be a part of them evil circles. Okay, the scriptures tell us not to have any, appearance or of evil. Also, envy not thou oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Not to envy the evil man, the rich man.
Good morning. Pleased to be joined with Vice Chair Ted Lieu. As always, House Democrats stand ready and willing to engage and negotiate to end this shutdown if Republicans are serious about addressing the healthcare crisis that they created.
So now it's the healthcare crisis. It's all fucking bullshit.
Thank you, Congressman McCormick. We've got two different public philosophies of government on view this week in Washington, D.C. The Democratic caucus in the House, the Democratic caucus in the Senate say the government must be an instrument for the common good of the people. We must meet the needs of the people. And on the other side, we've got a philosophy which says government is an instrument for private self-enrichment and money-making for the guy who gets in and his family. And they've made billions of dollars since this nightmare began in January. We've got to reject that public philosophy. We got to put these honorable federal workers back to work, and we've got to make the government again in service of the American people.
We have open dialogue all the time, but here's the simple fact. There isn't anything we can do to make this bill any better for them. We literally did not put one single partisan provision in the bill. There's no policy riders, there's no gimmicks and no tricks. Now, we could have done that. I had a lot of colleagues that wanted us to load this up with our priorities, but the leaders decided that we should do this in good faith, simply to buy more time, again, for the appropriations process to work. That's all this is. So there's nothing to negotiate. There's nothing that we can pull out of this bill to make it any leaner or
You see that? So they're not budging. The right and the left, they're not budging. One is saying that we done everything, we got everything that we needed. The other is saying no, we're not gonna sign off of it until you put these particular things in it, because it's for the people. And you can see that the smirk, because it's their numbers are being called. All right, time to hit the line of coke. Go out there with the cameras. Here's the script. Say they put on that acting hat. That's all that it is. Okay, so you can see how since your boy Trump, he's came into power, how the things are gotten worse. More government shutdowns, more government federal workers being fired, and those federal jobs, those were cushion jobs. You get in one of those positions and you good. You ain't worried about nothing. Yeah, the government can shut down. That happens every once in a while for a couple of days. But you're furloughed, okay, and then you get back pay. So it's all good. You ain't got to worry. You got to be a demon to get fired from one of those jobs. So those are one of those jobs where you get that position and you stay there and you retire. Okay, now Trump said, nope, we're going to fire your ass. And where else are you going to go to? Everything is being taken over by AI. Okay, let's wrap it up. But you can see 2 Esdras 15 coming to pass. Okay, they shall not regard the kings nor the prince, because they people like, let me go actually look at these comments. The fish rots from the head down is a proverb and common business metaphor, meaning that if an organization is struggling, the cause is likely leadership, as the leader's actions and failures create problems that spread throughout the rest of the group. The metaphor likens the leader to the head of the fish, which is the first part of the. Yeah, you can say that, but the whole there's what is the scripture? Well, I know in the one in Isaiah it says the whole head is sick. That's speaking about Jacob, Israel, but in this case too, the head is sick. Okay, let me get what is that? Mark 3. All right, and then let me just get Mark 3. It's another precept, but it's not hitting me. Okay, it's not hitting me. It's all good. Well, if the Spirit hit me, Mark 3 and 24. And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. It's impossible for America to continue on. This is Yahushua's words, red letter. It's impossible for a kingdom to stand if there is so much conflict without any negotiation, without any reasoning between these two parts of government, to where one part of the government can stop progress of the other part of the government. Okay, and who gets affected? Are the people that get affected, are they in the leadership positions? Do the leadership positions get affected? No. The people that actually, work for, a living and depend on these paychecks that the government is paying, they are affected. And furthermore, it doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter if Trump is in office. It doesn't matter if Biden is in office. It doesn't matter if Kamala is in office. It's the same. It's the same results. Babylon is falling. Okay, and furthermore, who's the actual leaders? Is it the actual president? The president ain't no goddamn leader. He's just a like Ronald McDonald. You know, when you think of McDonald's, you think of the Arches and Ronald McDonald. You don't even know who the hell is a board member. You don't know the board members. All right, name me 5 board members. Give me 3 up. Give me 1 of McDonald's. You don't know. You're not worried about that when you go to McDonald's. You're not worried about that when you go to Domino's. Okay? When you go to Chili's. When you go to Outback Steakhouse. When you go to Sizzlers. If Sizzlers is still open. All right? Or Joe's Crab Shack. If you go to Trader Joe's, you're not worried about, who are the board members who actually control and steer the company in that particular way, that fashion. Okay? You just worried about the product. So the people, they just want to make sure the government is on point. But there's all this fighting within the government. But that's a example of what's going on internally amongst all of America. Okay? And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but has an end. So America actually has an end, and we're living in that end, where it's just total madness. All right, so there was another scripture, but I'm just going to go to Isaiah 19. I'm going to start at 2. It says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom." And it's going to be, really turned up when you're going to start to have the right and the left actually fight each other. Okay? They're going to actually fight each other over these different policies, over these different actions that the government is taking. And then the crazy thing is, you have these political leaders on the right and the left that are calling for violence. Okay, they'll use euphemisms, okay, and ambiguous speech, but basically they're saying enough is enough. How much more can you take? When you got to stand up for yourself. You're gonna allow them to take over the government. You're gonna allow them to be a dictator. You're gonna allow them to kill us, right? So they're rousing up. These are all charms. These are all enchantments. They're just building up those emotions within the people. And they're doing these things right out in front of the people. And they're not stopping, even though the people are mad at that and are upset. It's just a build up to everything spills over. And see, they want you to spill over. They want you to get mad. They want you to get angry. They want to invoke emotions. They want you to get online and talk shit about the government. That's when they gonna roll in on your ass through that sedition. They're gonna bring in those troops. They already have a lot of these troops in these major cities, the National Guard. Okay. So let me read 3. "And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof." Yeah, everything's fallen. Everything is cooked. Okay, please, somebody tell me, has it gotten better? Has your life gotten better here in America? Has your neighbor's life gotten better? Has things at your workplace, has that gotten better? You just got a raise, and everybody in your jobs got raises. They're happy. Everybody, gives gifts to one another. Everybody's in a joyful spirit. All right, nobody's complaining. Everybody's in good health. Is that happening? Please, where the hell is that at? Everybody's so content and happy with what they're doing. Or year after year, month after month, day after day, hour after hour, you're hearing nothing but complaining. Nothing but, "I'm tired, I'm sick. I got to do this because I don't have no other choice." You got to work, right? I got to eat. I got to pick up another job. I got to get 2 jobs. Just so you can make ends meet. You can keep your head above the water. Shit. Meanwhile, the government playing fucking games. They good. Them people in those positions, they good. They ain't tripping. They pay ain't gonna get cut. And even if so-called it does get cut, they already took so many different backdoor deals that that's not gonna affect them. Okay, they get cuts. You don't think those 250 lawmakers that went to Israel, you don't think they got any you don't think they got any money under the table? You don't think that? To influence, all right, you know, these different things that are going on here in America, these different laws? Huh? You don't think that they got any cuts? They just went there and, you know, just to go there. It was just a good trip. Why didn't go to Pakistan? Huh? Why didn't they go to China and do that? Why didn't they go to Egypt? What about New Zealand, Australia? Why didn't they do all that? So something is fishy. Something it doesn't add up. But really, it does add up once you understand what the hell is going on. And really, it all comes down to America is out of there, which is spiritual Egypt. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy all the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to idols and to charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to wizards. So the spirit of Egypt, the people are going to be, what do I do? This is why you have, you know, people, you know, looking at, you know, Charleston White, and looking to Candace Owens and Andrew Tate, and trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and, you know, Donald Trump, you know, and then your average charmer on YouTube, your tarot card reader, and calling on the ancestors, becoming a Muslim, doing witchcraft. You know, they're trying to find out, what the hell do I do? What is the answer? Okay, you're going to receive no answers. Everything's going to fail. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord. I want to look at this word cruel. Okay. Here we go. Quasha. Hard, cruel, severe, obstinate, hard, severe, intense, vehement, stubborn, stick-necked, rigorous. Okay, so difficult, severe, hard, fierce. So these measures that the government is doing under this administration, under this king, which is Donald J. Trump, the American government is becoming more fierce. He said, hey, look, we going to send troops to these Democratic-run cities. All right, we going to, put in place law and order. We going to grab up these migrants that been here. We don't give a fuck how long you've been here. We going to grab your ass up. All right, and we going to deport your ass. And and these flights that a lot of these migrants are getting deported on, you can't track them. The trackers are off. All right, it's been rumored that, hey, certain motherfuckers are getting dropped off in the ocean, never to be heard from again. So it was like Trump, he got like his own secret police. All right, ICE, and they wear masks, so you can't track who the hell they are. Are they grabbing motherfuckers up? They told to grab them up, use force if they got to. They ain't got to tell them who they with. Okay? It is what it is. That's the time that we're coming into. And those powers are going to be extended to where, all right, he's going to come against the American people. All right? Which there was another video. Let me see something. There was another video. Give me a second. They talk about and maybe I've seen it, I forget where it's at, but it talks about how Trump wanted to use these troops, okay, on other on the American people, which we went into that, but we'll probably tap into that another time. Okay, let me just go back here. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord of hosts. See? So this is what's happening. The people, look, great news, end of America. Yeah, this is the end. See, so your average person sees this. Your average foreigner, they're actually witnessing. Could you imagine you on the other side of the world witnessing all the madness that's going on in America? You said this place is cooked. It's done. Okay, and look at these damn. He's smiling. He's good.
Cleaner than it is. It's absolutely sparkling clean, and it's only 24 pages long. Okay, we're carrying it around as an exhibit. You've all read it, I hope. Everybody can read this. It's very, very simple.
Who has read it? What American has read it?
Unfortunately, we are here this morning in a government shutdown the Democrats wanted. Chuck Schumer, at the behest of a bunch of liberal, far-left activist groups, has walked his Democrat colleagues into a boxed canyon. There's no way out, folks. There's no way out. This could have been avoided.
So you see that? You see, we had no choice. It could have been avoided. This is not our fault. This is the Democratic, the far left extremists. You know, this is their fault. They don't want to sign it. You know, this is what it is because the Democrats don't want to do this. You know, we're gonna have to cut down these federal workers. We're gonna have to fire thousands. You know, it is what it is. We tried. This is the best bill that anybody came up with. We got it right here. I hope you all read it. It's only like 30 pages. So you can see how they're taking the American people for a roller coaster of emotions. All right, and people are going to be affected by it. We'll just see how long they're going to use this distraction. Okay, until another distraction they're going to pull out of their ass. So I pray, the lesson was edifying. Until next time, shalom to the elect. Call all Yabashimashai.